It was rumored Diana had an affair with that tennis player, whatever he was, and everybody made this meme where it's Harry and this tennis player, and like the only question I'm waiting for is who's your daddy, and that meme was like really rude, like showing that poor Oak just wants like family, and now you're making like a meme out of it. And I think
Seriously.
that tennis player is actually his real dad, like it's not his fault.
Question is always what makes you reach that point? Why why do people transgress?
Yeah. But
Um,
it's his mother's like fault, and people shouldn't bother him with like his mother. Nothing to do with him.
yes, question. I'm admitting you guys as you join.
So I just wanted to say that I think it's quite important that it was definitely needed for someone to speak out about the racism.
Just quickly log in on.
Because from what I can see, it's sparked people to confront racism in their daily lives. Like I know
Yes.
this popular news anchor was also confronted on racism and not using his platform properly and using his platform as a white straight male in an incorrect manner.
You will always, unfortunately, and I think that's the important message. That's the important message from. Sorry for those who are joining late. We've discussed or started discussing Harry and Meghan's interview with Oprah, sort of in between or during the break, and it's extended to to still be part of the conversation. But I think yeah, it's important again for celebrities and role models because and we've just done it when we saw that it's a way, it's an informal way. People are going to imitate and people are going to. It happened to me once when I was running a program, a cricket coaching program at a primary school in the northern suburbs, and there were 12 teams from under 8 to under 10, basically 4 teams per age group, and we had 12 coaches. My previous college provided the 12 coaches, and I can remember distinctly one of the students came to me afterwards. He had long hair. He was for those who have seen photographs of John McEnroe in his young days. We had that sweatband and long hair, and even Andrew Agassi was similar to that as well. And that's how he was dressed. He was neatly dressed and everything, and shaven and everything. There's nothing wrong with his appearance at all. But 2 sessions later, all the kids had sweatbands because they copied the coach. That's just what happens, especially when you're 6, 7, 8 years old. That person becomes. It happened to me as well when my son was also playing cricket, and he had a certain specific skill that is very rare. I just saw it happen in the backyard one day. So I said, do that again for me. He says, what? I said, no. And I couldn't do it to show him what he must do. But that came natural to him, and that was one of the things that professional cricketers who've been playing the game for many years couldn't do if they trained for years. It just came naturally to him, but I was battling because I need to correct some of the technical issues that he had, and no, what do you know? So when I took him to cricket practice, I actually took the coach aside and I said, Coach, we've been trying to do this in the backyard. Please, just this is what I want you to do, because he was also one of the coaches that I coached. So he did that. And when I picked him up after practice, he says, Dad, you will never believe what happened at practice today. Remember that thing that we struggled with in the backyard and home? Coach got it right first time at practice tonight. And I thought, okay, right. You don't know that I told the coach what to do. But that's not the point. Sometimes we know that we have to use different means and other individuals that's going to get the message across. Not that you don't want to get the message across, but sometimes you block out the response because it's a person that, this is Dad, what does Dad know, kind of thing. And that's the importance of celebrities and the platforms that they create. They should be the ones speaking out, yes, and that can be complimented. The fact that they actually were prepared to do that. The reverse is also true. You get some of those, and the most recent president of America was one of those who actually should not be given a platform to express his opinions from, because I mean he just tweeted before thinking.
He should have hit beyond the door he wanted to go.
Oh, jeez. I mean, they should have buried him somewhere in the foundations. But anyway, no, he's not all bad, but he's probably wasn't the right guy at the right at the right time for them. Although a lot of economical issues, because he's a businessman. He was a businessman before he took on this. Um, yeah, it was just some people should just do and not talk, because they get more done by doing it than actually what they say.
So I saw something, sorry, just a quick thing about that.
Yes.
That, like something that I would never have like thought about is that there was this woman and she's like, just because you often you label yourself as a Republican doesn't mean that you stand with things that Donald Trump said.
Yes.
And that's like so important because as soon as you hear the word like Republican or conservative, you think of Donald Trump and all
Yes.
his values and beliefs. But you don't think like a little bit further and say like this person might not be related to the same beliefs that Donald
Yes.
Trump has. Which is pretty like I would never have thought that.
I think it became very clear with the reactions of Republicans to certain statements that was done publicly, that make people react like that, because it was we are very, as human beings, we're very quick to label somebody as too fat, too tall, too this, too that, and yeah, that was a classic case of that, where, because this is the reaction, it means all of them have the same kind of characteristical traits or personality traits, which is not the case at all. Again, you know what you know.
Yeah.
And if you've been living under a rock in a far off, small 2-horse town, without any television, where do you learn from? You learn from the people who you probably learn in the formal process, or through the formal process of learning, and that will be your family. And you repeat what they basically taught you, and you think that's right, never knowing that there are other options available and other alternatives. And I think that is, there's very often, and it's not isolated to America. It's not isolated to it. It happens in every country.
Yeah, so that's the other thing, like racism is like um although like we just see it like around here, like in Cape Town, it's literally the entire world.
It is.
Like the UK just
It
has
is.
such a bad history of racism as like South Africa and like the USA too. Like it's, we all have it.
That those who are innocent cast the first stone. That's why nobody's throwing stones, because they know, oops, a daisy. We've got a few skeletons in our cupboard as well. And I think, yeah, it's something very real, and it's something that, and a lot of people say, but I don't know, it's getting such a lot of exposure. We talk about racism and how it's a global pandemic almost. With what happened to Floyd last year in America, it got the ball rolling. It was obviously a very touchy subject to a lot of individuals, and still, yet months beyond that, similar incidents happen. Why is it continuing to happen? And I think, again, it's what you know, what you don't know, and that is probably, education is the most important. The most important medium, in my opinion, to ensure that we change or can change people's perceptions. But again, if your teacher tells you that, um, it's almost going to carry more value than when your parents told you that. If your teacher confirms what your parents have already told you, the message comes across even stronger. If one of the celebrities confirm by exactly expressing the same that your teacher and you and your parents did, you'll believe. Nobody can convince you of anything else. And I think that's, yeah, we sometimes forget the importance of the roles that these individuals play and the influences they have on people's choices, the choices in what they believe and what they value. at the end of the day, it becomes your own personal decision eventually, but it is difficult. We haven't even touched on peer pressure and stuff like that. And I know, for instance, in some countries where certain religions are not accepted, people want to follow that particular religion. They do it secretly, but they in constant threat of losing their lives. Um, yeah, you don't want to get to that point, but again, it just shows you the importance of the influence of culture, but on how we make our decisions. And in this case, it's going to be commercial decisions because it's about the process that we go through as a consumer of products or services. The bell just went off, and that wasn't Kuberg testing their system like they will be doing between 10 and 12 this morning. The alarm will be going off in Kuberg next to the power station here in Cape Town. So they've warned everybody not to be alarmed. They're just testing their evacuation protocols. But yeah, it can be frightening. The long and short of it is, and I think we've got about 5 minutes to go, so we can wrap it. If there's anybody, especially those who are online who are at home who want to share some information on what we've said this morning, any personal experiences, you're welcome to. Any questions? Any questions at this point? No questions? Let's just stick to the...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a question. Yes, thank you.
I have a question about the assignment.
All right, yes. Where were you in the start of the previous session that you missed it? Or is it a different...
I was in the waiting room.
Oh, okay, right. What's your question?
How would you like the video saved on Canvas? Like what name?
I would suggest you do it. I would use F2 because it's your formative assessment 2, F2 or assignment 1, F2, and then your name, please. And
Okay.
Because we, yeah, no, let me rephrase that. Let's say firstly your course or the module, which would be CB21. Then say assignment 1, F2, and then your name and surname, please.
Okay.
That's easier to detect because obviously then I know which module it goes for. Although when you upload it, it will be on the specific module of CB. But just to cover ourselves, let's include the module CB21. Say it's assignment 1, it's F2, which is our code for it, formative 2, and then your name and surname, please.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Enjoy the rest of the day. We will talk to everybody again on Thursday. Yep. Keep well, stay safe, make good decisions. Thanks, everybody.